Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like today's video, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button. And if you want to watch more content from me, you can also hit subscribe. Thank you!
蒼月草僕の故郷の花でねとても美しいんだまあ僕ほどではないんだけどねそろそろ行こうか
Hey guys, welcome to the first video of 2026. We're starting the month off with an absolute banger of an anime, and that is Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I figured while I chat away about my thoughts on the show, you can watch me clumsily fill out my journal entry for it. By the way, please ignore the battle-scarred hand. It was the victim of a very grumpy cat. Now, is it a cop-out to make Frieren the first thing I finished in 2026? Yes. Truth be told, I could have easily finished this before the end of the year, but I purposely held off on the last few episodes just so I could add it to the journal. Part of that is because January is an awful month. It's cold, dark, depressing, wet, windy, snowy in our case, and it's the furthest you can get from the so-called season of joy that is December. No one likes January, so I figured why not add in some quick wins to start the year off right and set myself up for a good 2026. But also, if my silly little review convinces just one person to go and give this anime a try, then it'll have been worth it. So what's Frieren about? It follows our title character, who has just come to the end of an adventure. Along with her companions Heither, Eisen and Himmel the hero, they defeat the Demon King, celebrate, and go their separate ways. However, Frieren, unlike her companions, is an elf, and elves live much longer lives than humans or dwarfs. After 50 years, she returns to find that her friends are now at the end of their lives, causing her to realise that despite the time spent with them, she hardly knew them at all. She sets out on another journey, this time with an apprentice mage called Fern, in a bid to learn more about people and understand human emotion and, ultimately, humanity. There are so many things that I loved about this that it's almost difficult to start. The show's main themes are around connection and building memories, and so many of the really poignant story beats happen not in those larger battles, but in the small moments. For example, there's a scene where one character has a birthday. They're all sat around the table for dinner and reminiscing. That in itself is a very nothing scene, yet it's so filled with emotion, with so much being conveyed through minimal words. When I say I think this is a really beautiful anime, I mean it. Watching Frieren grow as a character throughout the show was so satisfying. She starts the season as this completely detached elf, time oblivious and almost selfish in her own wants. Yet, as the show progresses, we see that shift into someone who really has learned to value human connection. There are so many tiny moments, and they make the show into something that is both calming and gripping. A show concerned with making the inconsequential the focus. I'm not ashamed to say that many tears were shed during the watching of this. Sad tears, happy tears, the kinds of tears that you're not even sure why you're shedding, but you're just so overcome with emotion that you do. It's very rare that an anime of all things will move me the way this did, but Frieren did it time and time again. I could wax lyrical about the animation quality, the character development, every little scene that was satisfying either for its message or for its imagery. I do have a time limit to stick to, so I will instead touch upon the music. Both the opening and closing tracks are fantastic and set the tone really well, but the closing theme, Anytime, Anywhere, is my personal favourite. In fact, it's the only closing track I've never skipped, and probably will never skip, even on a rewatch. Also, a shout out to the overall soundtrack. It's got a great folk music vibe, it's very Lord of the Rings, Shire-esque, with some beautiful crescendos that serve the scenes really well. For each of my journal entries, I wanted to add in a quote that stood out for me. There were quite a few I could have chosen for this. One that didn't quite make the cut is from a scene where a statue has been made of Himmel. Frieren asks why he has so many statues commissioned. I guess the biggest reason is so you won't be alone in the future. What does that mean? Asks Frieren. We're not fairy tales. We really existed. That's just one of so many really beautiful scenes, but ultimately another quote came out on top. If you want the context for that one, I guess you'll just need to watch the show. In short, if there's one anime you've yet to watch, or if you're just starting out and want something different, or if you've never watched anime before and you want to dip your toes in, this is the anime you should choose. Not because it's action-packed or grand, and not even because the journey itself is some epic adventure, but because it's an unapologetic, honest portrayal of how we connect with others, and how the memories we make can shape us for the rest of our lives. This was one of the easiest 5 stars I could give, and here's me thinking I was going to be picky this year. What a way to start off 2026.